Judge has denied prosecutors' request to block release of the autopsy reports of Shanann Watts and her two daughters. Investigators say Chris Watts, the husband and father, killed the three and dumped their bodies at an oil company worksite. Shanann was pregnant. The Weld County District Attorney argued the cause of death will be critical evidence and should be sealed, but a judge ruled Friday that only the county coroner can ask to seal autopsy reports.
The truth didn't begin in an interrogation room. It didn't begin with Chris Watts' trembling voice on television or his rehearsed pleas for his family to come home. The truth began in silence, in a shallow grave beneath the scorching Colorado sun, where Shanann Watts' body lay hidden, waiting to speak. When investigators finally uncovered her remains, the case changed forever, because bodies don't lie. And Shannon's body was about to tell a story no confession could erase. At first, the world saw a missing pregnant woman, a devoted mother, a social media presence full of smiles and family videos. But the autopsy would strip away the illusion piece by piece. Every bruise, every internal injury, every silent mark became evidence, not just of how Shanann died, but of how carefully the truth had been buried with her. What was meant to disappear instead became the loudest voice in the case. As forensic examiners began their work, they weren't just documenting a death. They were reconstructing a final struggle, a timeline, and a level of intent that shattered the story Chris Watts tried to sell. The ground she was buried in could hide her body, but it couldn't hide the facts written into her flesh. And once those facts surfaced, there was no turning back. Cases like this force us to confront something uncomfortable, that the most dangerous secrets often hide behind ordinary faces. If stories that uncover those hidden truths matter to you, take a moment to like and subscribe. It helps ensure these stories continue to be told, uncensored and unforgotten. Because this wasn't just about a murder. It was about what Shanann Watts' body revealed when her voice was taken away. And as you're about to see, the autopsy didn't just expose how she died. It exposed everything Chris Watts tried to hide.
So we're not going to keep you here all night. Can we go through this? Yep. So, okay, let's see, your 148 doorbell detected visitor. What does that mean?
So the doorbell has a camera on it when you get up to a certain proximity, and when you ring it, it detects a visitor.
Okay. People are already distracting me out here.
Oh.
So in fact, why don't we do this? So I work a lot of stuff like this in bank robberies, and when I talk to a witness at a bank robbery, sometimes I find it best for them to just say, tell me what happened, get it all out, and then once you get it out, let's go over it, okay? So just get it all out as far as this. Tell me exactly what you remember, and I'll take notes about where we can go.
Okay. So this 1:48 a.m.
Let me switch chairs. Because when they come knocking, when they come knocking, I got to use that key. Do you need more water?
No,
I brought you Gatorade.
Oh, thank
All right.
Alright, so 1:48 a.m., doorbell detects a visitor. So when we were over at the neighbor's house the next day, we were looking at his camera as well, and it didn't show anybody walking up to the driveway, which was kind of weird. That's the only reason I put that on there, because it showed Nicole dropping her off, but nobody actually walking up to the house. It was kind of weird, but she was in the house.
Okay.
So,
and what time are we talking?
This is still 1:48.
Okay.
So, 2 a.m., Shanann gets into bed with me. 4 a.m., that's when my alarm goes off for work, and I'm supposed to get dressed, brush my teeth, everything I do upstairs.
Okay.
4:15, that's when I get back, slide right into bed next to her, and start having a conversation with her about having the house up for sale, and talking about actually proceeding with the separation.
Okay.
And obviously it gets pretty emotional, like we're talking about, we felt this disconnection was there, like falling out of love. And
The autopsy room is where emotion ends and evidence begins. Under bright clinical lights, Shanann Watts' body was examined not with anger or grief, but with precision. Every finding had to answer one question: what really happened in her final moments? The medical examiner documented injuries that could not be explained away by panic or accident. What they found told a clear and unsettling story. Marks on Shanann's neck revealed she had been strangled, not briefly, not impulsively, but with sustained pressure. This wasn't a sudden loss of control. Strangulation requires time, force, and decision. The lack of defensive wounds suggested she was overpowered quickly, possibly while vulnerable, contradicting the narrative of a heated confrontation. Inside her body, subtle signs of trauma confirmed oxygen deprivation, evidence that her life was taken slowly, deliberately. These findings immediately unraveled Chris Watts' early explanations. His claim that events unfolded in the heat of emotion collapsed under medical scrutiny. The autopsy showed no indication of an accident, no signs of mutual struggle that might suggest self-defense. Instead, it pointed to calm execution, silence, control, and that realization shifted the case from suspicion to certainty. Forensic experts often say the body is the most reliable witness. It doesn't forget. It doesn't bend under pressure. And in Shanann's case, it spoke with brutal clarity. As you listen, ask yourself, without this autopsy, how long might the truth have stayed buried? Share your thoughts in the comments because cases like this raise questions that deserve discussion. With every documented injury, the walls closed in. The autopsy didn't just confirm homicide, it established intent. And once intent was proven, investigators knew they weren't chasing a tragedy. They were staring directly at premeditation.
There was nowhere left for Chris Watts to hide. When the case against Chris Watts moved toward its legal conclusion, the autopsy evidence followed him into the courtroom. Quiet, clinical, and devastating.
So I mean, they're not gonna let me go. Isn't he reasonable? They shouldn't. They know I had an affair. They know. I can't complain about that. They know you had an affair. Anything else you want to tell me? What's going on, or what happened, or anything? If you know anything about it. When we had that conversation that morning, it was emotional. It was told her about separation and everything like that. What happened after that? I mean, I went downstairs and I want to protect her. What? I want to protect her. You don't want to protect her? I don't know what else to say. What happened? Huh? She hurt him. She hurt him? Yeah. And then I freaked out and I hurt her. What now? And I freaked out and I hurt her. You hurt her? Did they leave after that for a long time? So she started hurting the kids. Paper.
What made Shanann Watts' autopsy even more devastating was not just what it revealed about her death, but what it confirmed about the life growing inside her. Shanann was 15 weeks pregnant. That detail alone transformed the weight of the crime, but the forensic findings would push it even further. The examination confirmed that the unborn child had died as a direct result of Shanann's murder, eliminating any doubt about responsibility or timing. This single fact shattered any remaining illusion that the killing was unplanned. Pregnancy alters a body in visible, measurable ways, and the medical examiner could determine that Shanann and her unborn child were alive until the moment she was strangled. There was no medical emergency, no sudden complication. Two lives ended simultaneously, and that reality forced investigators to confront a chilling truth. This was not just a crime of emotion, it was a decision made with full awareness of its consequences. Legally, the findings elevated the case. Morally, they deepened its darkness. The autopsy established that Chris Watts didn't just remove obstacles from his life, he erased a future. A mother, a child she carried, and everything they represented. The cold precision of the medical report stood in brutal contrast to the family man image he had carefully maintained. Moments like this remind us why these stories matter. If you believe uncovering truth, no matter how uncomfortable, is important, sharing this video helps ensure these cases aren't reduced to headlines and forgotten names. By this point, Shanann's body had done more than confirm death. It had revealed motive, timing, and intent. And with each forensic detail, investigators weren't just learning how she died. They were learning exactly who Chris Watts was when no one was watching.
What I'd like to say to the court is that Shanann, Bella, and Nico love and caring people. They love life. They love being around people who love them. They always had good times. This is the first time they went to the beach this year, and they loved it. But God only knows what happened that night. Life will never be the same without Shanann, Bella, and Celeste and Nico. Had all their lives to live. They were taken by a heartless one. This is the heartless one, the evil monster, who dare you take the lives of my daughters Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. I trusted you to take care of them, not kill them. And they also trusted you. The heartless monster, and then you take them out like trash. You disgust me. They were loving and caring people. You may have taken their bodies from me, but you will never take the love they had from me. They loved us more than you will ever know, because you don't know what love is, because if you did, you would not have killed them. You monster, thought you would get away with this. I don't know how. The cameras do not lie. You carry them out like trash of the house. Yes, I seen the videotape. You buried my daughter Shanann and Nico in a shallow grave, and then you put Bella and Celeste in huge containers of crude oil. You heartless monster. You have to live with this vision every day of your life, and I hope you see that every time you close your eyes at night. Oh, I forgot. You have no heart or feelings or love. Let me tell you something. I will think of them every day of my life, and I love them every day of my life. Prison is too good for you. This is hard to say, but may God have mercy on your soul. I hope you enjoy your new life. It's nothing like the one you had out here. May the courts have no mercy on you. It's hard every day. It hurts in so many ways. I have heard people say that you're not a monster. No, you are not. You're an evil monster. Thank you. Love you, Shanann, Bella, and Nico.
By the time investigators fully absorbed the autopsy findings, Chris Watts' public image had already begun to collapse. His calm television interviews, his soft-spoken pleas, the carefully crafted performance of a worried husband, none of it could survive the facts written into Shanann's body. The forensic evidence left no room for misunderstanding, and it certainly left no room for innocence. Every injury documented during the autopsy contradicted his shifting stories. There was no evidence of a violent confrontation initiated by Shanann, no signs that supported his later attempt to shift blame onto her. Instead, the findings painted a picture of control and calculation. The medical examiner's report became a silent cross-examination, dismantling each version of events Chris offered without ever asking a question. As detectives reviewed the results, the case reached a point of inevitability. Interrogations were no longer about discovering the truth, they were about confronting him with it. The autopsy had already spoken. It had stripped away the possibility of accident, panic, or self-defense, leaving only one conclusion standing. This is the moment many viewers realize how deceptive appearances can be. If this case is changing how you see the idea of a perfect family, tap the like button. It helps us continue uncovering the truths that often hide in plain sight. With the medical evidence locked in, prosecutors' new conviction was no longer a matter of speculation. The body had provided the verdict long before a judge ever would, and Chris Watts was running out of places to hide, not from investigators, but from the undeniable reality of what he had done.
So she's supposed to get home like 11. She got home at like 1:48. She got in bed about 2.
What was she going for, like family trip or what?
It was a Thrive direct sales. It was a local event that was down there between a bunch of leaders in the company.
And that day she was back, I mean...
I left work work early that morning, like 5:15, 5:30. So like she barely got into bed pretty much.
And this might be a tough question, but did you guys get into an argument before she left?
It wasn't like an argument. We had an emotional conversation, but I'll leave it at that. But I just want them back. I just want them to come back. And if they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. Because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like, somebody has to come forward.
Have you spoken to her family, like her parents?
Yeah, they've been in constant contact, like every hour. I mean, everybody back in North Carolina and the East Coast. I mean, from Maine to Florida.
In the end, Shanann Watts never testified in a courtroom. She never told her side of the story in her own words. But through the autopsy, she didn't need to. The forensic evidence spoke with a clarity that no defense could silence. Every documented injury, every measured finding became her voice, calm, factual, and impossible to ignore. Chris Watts eventually pleaded guilty, not because he found remorse, but because the evidence left him no escape. The autopsy had already delivered the truth. It revealed intent where he claimed chaos, control where he pretended confusion, and premeditation where he once tried to paint passion. Justice didn't come from emotion or public outrage. It came from facts. What lingers long after the verdict is the reminder this case leaves behind. Evil doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it wears the face of routine, of quiet mornings and family photos. Shanann's story endures because her body refused to let the lie survive. Even in death, she exposed the truth that ended the deception. This is why stories like this belong on channels like The Hidden Verdict. If you believe the truth deserves to be uncovered, no matter how deeply it's buried, subscribe, share this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Your support keeps these stories told with care, not sensationalism. Because some verdicts are delivered by judges, others are delivered by evidence. And in this case, the hidden verdict was written long before the courtroom doors ever opened, etched into the silence that Shanann Watts left behind.